Hello, and welcome back to our Dungeons and Dragons game. We're glad you're here with us again. We've just started our new campaign, and we are excited to continue it. You'll be able to catch us live on Mondays. We're actually going to be pushing back our start time to this time that we actually start, as opposed to the time that we say we're going to start, because it makes sense. So that's going to be 8:15 Eastern time on Twitch, or any time on YouTube. I think we had somebody who was voluntold last week that they would be doing the recap. At the end of every game, we roll at random to see who will do the recap. And Jimmy drew the short straw this week.
Well, I rolled the low die.
Yes.
Anyways, so when last we joined our intrepid adventurers, we were taking off from the farm where we had previously slain the demon from the night before. Party, some members better off than others, some kind of in a daze of just witnessing what had happened. As we're going down the road, we got to a woman on a horse approached us and gave us some good advice to make sure we always collect our debts and to try and just make sure that we stick together and actually form, act as a adventuring group, because the world is dangerous and rough, and you're not going to be getting a lot of favors. So with that, we set off, and then got a decent way, and then decided to make camp. Whilst making camp, the barbarian and the druid set outside to go collect food, where the druid wild-shaped and to get into a little badger hole and proceeded to get stuck down there because cats don't have dark vision. Cough, cough. But upon successfully navigating his way out, we acquired a decent amount of food that was brought back to the group. And then order of event, I think we did that, and then as camp was being made and whatnot, we were approached by a dove that told us to try and help stop a beast, or help slow down a beast that was coming through. Shortly after, the party was greeted by a greater hornhelm, which was just basically, I want to say just essentially a triceratops, if I had to condense it. The fight against it actually went pretty well. It hit real hard when it did hit, but the group managed to get into its way pretty easily, and we took it down. After taking it down, we found out that the party that had requested that we help slow it down was actually members of the orphanage that two of our group members are from. 1 second. I want to say Liam Cross and... Yep, Liam Cross and Riona. And they were invited back to the guild hall to kind of catch up and see what's going on, which I think we are heading to now.
Yep.
So
that was good. Anything
before we finish that night, though.
All right.
For any that few the episode, Elrich kind of had a mental breakdown, learning that the book he possessed was super fucking sketchy, and went out into the woods and dug himself a dirt pit of shame, and was returning to the group. As he returned, he was aware that Riona and Liam were sharing the 2-person tent, right? And it's a super normal way for non-biological siblings to do.
Whoa.
I think we mentioned it before we went to fight the giant horned beast.
All right. He would then approach the tent, coming back at probably like 9 o'clock at night, and go to like tap on it like it was a door and go and grasp, and then pausing, realizing that was stupid, but then do it anyways. So I don't know if you guys are up at 9 o'clock, but there's like someone like knocking at the edge of this tent, causing it to like bulge, but not really make any sound.
Did we establish
Morgan-
a watch?
Did we didn't establish
I
a
don't
watch.
watch
I
the-
did
we
establish
did.
watch.
Sam would be out on watch.
Not gonna change his actions.
Okay. Sam's just gonna kind of watch you a little confusedly.
Okay.
Honestly, I sleep right through while you're knocking.
Well, I guess I'll go to the door and the flap of the tent and open it.
Oh, hey, and he is covered in dirt, by the way. Like he looks like he was buried.
Hey, are you okay, man?
No. Can I talk to you two real quick?
I'll walk over and shake Liam awake.
Ugh.
Right, he's gonna enter the tent, so we're all like super close together in this 2-person tent.
Liam's just shirtless and looking handsome.
Okay, Leo, not right now.
You're not there.
Oh my gosh. Oh, what are we doing?
So,
Elrich wanted to talk to us.
I had a couple of things to ask and a favor along with them. You two plan on. I know we're going back to your lodge and we've not met earlier. You're planning on being on the road for a bit, right? Like picking up the adventuring life and whatnot.
That's the plan.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So 2 favors then, I guess. I would like to be around you two for how long that's possible.
Well, we like you too, man.
For the second favor, I don't know what this does. Like gesturing to the book, like so far it's been fine with a couple sketchy notes, but I don't know what happens if I get deeper in this. And there's a real possibility it might get dark. And there's a real possibility whoever wrote this beforehand was not a good person. So oh, hell.
Was that Griff Ryan?
Damn it.
Lord, just screaming that you finally noticed.
I apologize for that. I did not think that was going to be happening.
To our viewers, something rare and magical is happening tonight, and Ryan cannot guarantee a complete silence, but
That is from downstairs. You'd be able to hear it even if I was in my room. That's how loud he is.
It is
Turn the
understandable.
microphone.
We're just glad you can be here with us tonight.
I'm going to turn the microphone down a little bit and see if that helps.
It's fine. It's just the
Okay.
moment.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
good.
gosh.
Just keep going.
So,
We're-
given that I don't know what's going to happen as I continue down this path, I need someone to keep me in check. So if I start hurting people that aren't fighting, or get possessed, or obviously turn evil, I need you to kill me. Like none of this. You can be no.
I come over to you, Elrich, and I just put my hand on your shoulder. There's no need to worry, friend. If you stray from the light, we will pull you right back to it.
I appreciate.
There is no evil that we will not work to defeat. I promise you, you are.
We will do what we
Good.
must to bring you back to Valor's path.
So I appreciate this. I'm not. Whatever's in this is. If something is in this, it's probably stronger than I am. Just go for the stab. Go for the stab. I not to discount your order or your god. If there's one thing my books have told me, you don't fuck with wizards. You just don't. So if there's some dark magic here and it takes a hold and I'm not in control, or I start being obviously people murdery evil, just
All right.
I'm not worth
I understand
people dying.
that you are concerned, and if it will put your mind at ease.
We will do what we must.
He's gonna roll
Do
it.
not worry.
See if he believes that. The roll of deception.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy, what do I have for? Oh, well, it's taking a minute, but
Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
I'm just realizing. I apologize for that. I have you guys on that map, which is. Could you see anything just now?
No.
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 It's
I don't
super
think
blurry.
so.
That would be a pretty unnecessarily heavy load. That was a test map.
Thought I'd rolled, but it's not.
Um,
Same. So let me roll again.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
yeah,
Yep,
you guys
there we
were
go.
sitting on a map that I literally made distress test roll 20. I apologize.
Okay. Let me know when I moved over.
I just see the dice that I rolled.
I see the insight check.
Same.
Side note: Are you having this conversation inside the tent or outside?
This is inside the
In the
tent,
tent.
but it is a tent.
I was gonna say,
So
Okay, so Sam can pretty well hear it then.
what's your passive perception?
Pretty decent actually. Hold on.
I also want to point out that Raknul is probably like 20
15.
feet into the woods because he followed fucking Ulrich out.
Would you be?
You wouldn't follow him back?
Would you be paying?
Oh yeah, no, I'd follow him back, but
Yeah. I'll say with the 15 and the fact that this is the only thing happening right now, so you'd be paying attention to it.
Yeah.
You can hear everything that's said.
Cool.
Sorry about taking forever.
I believe whatever you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe you will do what you need to. All right. But so after,
And I would say as DM, it's less that you believe whatever they say, and that it's more that you see no reason to doubt. As far as you can tell, they are being open and honest, but they are hard. Like, you don't know them very well, and you're not particularly good at reading people. So it's up to your character in terms of what they would take away from that. You don't just implicitly believe whatever they say.
Yeah.
Skill checks are not made for PvP. Dungeons and Dragons is a cooperative game. Those are meant for really for NPCs, and their application between party members is kind of a secondary usage.
Yeah. So with this reassurance, Elrich will go into the group tent and immediately just pass out. And he's not even gonna get inside his sleeping bag. He's just gonna pass out on his
I think this is actually a better way for me to say it, and I think this is something that we're gonna hold to sticking forward. I don't really want to see with that sort of thing, insight checks and deception checks. That's not really ever going to be its usage. In those instances, that you should just use your own personal feeling and the role play of your partner in this instance, the other characters. That takes place outside the rules, I would say.
All right.
If they were blatantly lying to you and trying to get away with it, then we might play with that a little bit, but it's not really the same when it's whether you trust them on something like that emotionally.
Yeah.
All right. I guess since we're doing this, anything else anybody would like to have done?
I'll just say hi to Raknul as he runs back in after Sam or after Elrich.
I just like wander back into the camp and I don't say anything. Everybody's back. We're good.
Yo.
Well, we'll say that you all go to bed, and we begin again the next morning. Chapter 5. As is often the case, extra company makes for a pleasant voyage the next day, as the party sets back upon the road. Things are quiet for the first few hours, aside from Bastion's questions to Liam and Riona about the various happenings at Agrian. Is that what it is, or Aegean? The island name.
Oh.
It's like Agrian. Agrian.
Yeah.
That's an easy way to say it.
That is, I don't know if we've said this outright, but that is the island upon which the three of you were all raised. And the rest of the party would learn a little bit more about it as you travel, in terms of that there is an order of Plor-serving clerics and paladins upon this island who have a monastery. And one of the things that they do is they take in orphans and other children in other circumstances that cannot stay at home, and they raise them. They are not all raised as clerics or paladins, but many of them are, or as just simply acolytes of Plor, unpowered individuals. And that the three of them are all of the sect of that is the of Plor's Ray, which is akin to the paladin sect, is the best way to put that.
Okay.
Aleve has offered you her horse for the day, as she has been forced to guide Billiam's horse. Billiam, as it would seem, has not recovered from the drinks of the previous evening and is asleep in the saddle with Aleve. You are impressed by his skillmanship and hers, that they are able to not slow you down in the least as they ride in this way, but it appears that she has some experience with this happening.
Surprises ability to ride a horse half conscious.
It is actually impressive. It is not something that is normal.
My appreciation for Billiam just increases.
Yep.
Not Elrich's.
I mean, both Riona's and mine.
About when the road returns to the side, or the side of the Fable Fork, Billiam begins to awaken and beg Aleve for a healing spell. And after about 15 minutes of relentless whining, she gives him a vial that smells strongly, even to you who are not next to them but are within a few feet, of herbs and vinegar.
Ooh.
It would seem that the remedy is successful, as the silence of the morning is replaced with embellished tales of the beasts that Billiam has slain. Thunderbells and slimes, hags and hildren packers, stone giants, demi-dragons, behirs. He even claims to have shot down an angel in the great battle of Arbor Bend. He attributes the king's victory that day to himself, and of course, by extension, takes credit for the current 15 years of peace that resulted from that battle.
Of course.
With my knowledge of herbs and remedies, would I recognize what she gave me?
Make a nature check.
Could I make a herbalism check instead?
Yes.
It's the same check. I don't know why.
You absolutely can.
I don't know why I nitpicked.
I appreciate your nitpicking.
Because of his herbalism when you roll a 120.
And so do the dice, as they have rewarded you. You don't know exactly what it is. You smell, it is it's primarily something that is called rassel. It is a, for lack of a better word, I believe it is a fermented cabbage juice kind of based thing, but a number of other herbs have been mixed in with it of kind of a general sort. But you catch that whatever that centrally distilled cabbage juice is the base of it, but that there is some form of magic upon it, but not of a spellcasting variety, more of the herbalism kind.
All right.
Because that is magic within the world.
While he's examining that, Morgan will sneak up behind him, and seeing that he's still covered in dirt and the fact that he tracked fucking dirt into the tent last night,
Thank you.
he will start casting prestidigitation on the back of on the back of our resident wizard and cleaning him up a bit.
Are you doing so in a way as to hide what you're doing, or is it obvious?
Oh no, it's super obvious.
Just muttering filthy under his breath as he does it.
What you see are a series of like tiny, tiny little portals that just open up and start individually picking off specks of dirt.
Thank you. I didn't realize that was a problem.
It's a little bit dramatic, Ian. We'll say, sure.
It's meant to be dramatic. I am sassing him right now.
I didn't realize my dirt was a problem, but okay.
I'm unsure that Morgan has that sort of level of conjuration ability, but
it's prestidigitation, baby. It's just flavor. And I'll just look Ulrich straight in the face, and I'll get a very serious look. And I'll cast prestidigitation on his face to clean his face. Don't do that again, please. I paid so much for that tent.
I can't promise that.
All of my money.
White and gray mountaintops peek through the clouds along the northern horizon as you guys are progressing. The day drags on, and as it does, the clouds thicken, and the mountains are lost from view again. This time not below the tree line, but behind the clouds. Deep wheel tracks and a widening road is the first sign that Allerd is close. Early in the afternoon, Bastion points ahead to a place where the Fable Fort carves out from the foothills through a gully. And at its opening, you can see a small gray wall and a little town within. As you approach, you pass through a hamlet that feeds the town, and they seem familiar with your like. And soon after, you come to a long, winding lane lined with pine trees. And it comes to a great gate. And the great gate is open, and many people are passing in and out of the town. But as you guys reach this gate and reach the end of what you can assume is Allerd, Bastion does not pass through. Instead, he turns to the left side, and there's a small door kind of built right in front of the actual gate outside the city wall. And he kind of pushes against the door. It doesn't open, so he rummages through, pulls out a key, turns it, and unlocks the door. Welcome to the gatehouse. And he enters.
Thank you.
All right. Follow right in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a map. We're going to try it.
Oh, God.
All right.
I will have to drag you on. Get ready for everybody's computer to crash. I apologize. All right. Who'd like to be first guinea pig?
Yo, do me. Or Jimmy first. I don't give a shit.
I trust Nick's computer the most, as well as Nick's ability to, if I show him too much, not abuse it.
What the fuck?
That's a lie.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Can you see?
What am I? Oh, yes.
Can you see everything or not?
I cannot see everything. I have limited vision.
All right, perfect.
Try Bronwyn next. I think she has the worst computer.
Thank you.
Is he wrong?
No, it's just, because you have to say it.
Yeah.
I think Riona's small.
How else would we know?
I had to make her big. Roll20 is always doing this to me, where they switch up how their thing treats grids of different sizes.
Oh, can we do that funny thing where we pretend that the player is really big?
Nope.
There's nothing on my screen, and Roll20 is already slowed down.
Jesus, everybody's popping onto this map tiny.
All right. It might not be worth it. I think it's probably not worth it. I'm gonna cut the dynamic lighting. We're gonna do this the old-fashioned way.
Cool.
Sweet.
Woo!
I think that will make life happier.
You can just tell us where it's supposed to be dark.
Oh,
Well, I can
everything's
just-
dark.
Yep.
We all have night vision now.
I will reveal
Except for you.
as you go.
It's everybody has night vision. No, you don't see in the dark. Everything just looks like it's nighttime. Oh, that's a great magic item to fucking dab on someone with.
Yeah, it is.
Dark vision just to like.
Everything's
It's dark. It's just a blindfold.
All right. Who do we got?
Oh, you know what you can call it? Eyes of the Bat.
Oh, yes.
I think we still gotta get Liam in here, right?
Yep.
And then one more person. Who am I forgetting?
Yeah.
It's Jimmy.
Daniel.
Samuel.
Oh, nobody important.
Yeah, no one worth adding in.
Oh my god.
You know, not my second favorite character.
Hey,
And because of reasons, I'm not gonna go ahead and put the others, the NPCs in because they are just leading the way for you.
All right.
All right.
They show you in through the side door here. There is a small kind of waiting room. At the moment, it doesn't seem that there's anybody here. And the door is open beyond, and he leads you within.
Oh, there it is.
You guys can see, right?
Yeah.
I can now.
Can you move through that door?
Box we're in.
Just the tiny little
I mean,
square.
I think I can.
I cannot move through the door.
And it appears that I cannot move through the door.
Let me see what you can see. Let me open the Twitch. We're troubleshooting. Nope, not the big door. Not the big door. Not that one.
Why'd you say?
Yeah, we know. We were trying this one first.
Is it the one over here?
Nope.
Yeah, I can't
Can't
move.
move past it.
It's blocked.
1,000 D&D players with typewriters.
Oh, dude, that's weird. It's actually working, but it's not working. So, like, the dynamic lighting is still on now.
But it's working.
I
So,
don't know where my character's going.
let me delete
Quality
that.
content.
Can
All
you
right.
see now?
I can do it. I'm in.
Ah. I can't get my character out of the dark.
I'm sorry. Live in the
Okay.
Oh yeah, no,
interesting.
the dynamic lighting is still 100% on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
there we go.
so it's just, but it's just that the map showing is like that business is not on. So if you go around that, can you see?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just try. I'm gonna try going full on and just revealing the whole map.
Sounds good.
I
Please.
Por favor.
There.
I moved.
My eyes.
So you can't move through.
Okay,
walls, but you
so
can
good.
move past.
You should be able to see around the map, but I should you'll come to a small waiting room. All right, don't. All right,
Quality
you
comment.
guys need to stop. You're stressing me out.
We
with
saw
all
that
that
in
around.
the again.
None of us have blind sight.
Not yet.
All right, you guys don't need to be walking outside.
I'm exploring. I can't see where everything is.
God, it's like herding llamas up in here.
All right. You guys can't be trusted with dynamic lighting.
No.
Obviously not.
What in our history made you think that we could?
Dynamic lighting can't be trusted with us.
Yeah, I'm with Bronwyn on this one. Prior turn of events, I'm gonna agree with her.
What?
You're all
Yeah, right.
You brought this on yourself.
black.
No, we have been compressed to the inky void.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I still have control over. I still have control
Oh
over
my.
Samuel. Should
Can you
probably-
see all this now?
No, we can't see anything.
Nope.
There we go.
Oh hey, awesome! Dynamic lighting is back.
Is dynamic lighting still on?
Yo,
So I can
Is
only
it?
see
I don't
this
fucking-
corridor.
screw it.
No,
I'm
no,
Well, no,
wait,
I
nope,
just revealed
nope,
only that corridor.
loading.
nope. It's not. Okay, never mind. No, it's not. It's,
Right. Me only revealing part of the map is not equivalent to dynamic lighting. It's me not
I
showing
thought.
you.
I thought it was because it was angled, like that.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm having this weird thing where if I scroll on the side, it like pans out what's lit. Anyone else getting that effect?
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can now see several things.
But if you go out far enough, you can't see anything. It's great.
True.
I just got this one room.
I can see a
Oh
little.
wait, I can see some stuff.
Oh my god.
Well, you guys come to a waiting room of sorts. It seems to be almost like a check-in area. There's a counter. Elrich walks behind the counter for some odd reason.
Because Elrich can't see what the
He
hell's
couldn't see where he
going
was
on.
going.
I actually can't see.
So wait, is there actually vision going on?
I have zero vision.
Try refreshing.
All right, let me.
Actually, yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm so confused about what's happening
Now
right
for
now.
a quick commercial break.
It should be off, but it isn't. Okay, it isn't. It formally is not off. All right, so.
All right, now I can see
We're good.
everything.
Everyone try refreshing the screen and see what happens.
Now I'm good.
Oh my god.
Refreshing. Let's see if I.
I sit in a chair. I don't stand behind the desk.
Is there anyone at the counter?
Oh, Max, sir.
A very
There
confused
is
half elf.
actually there is a woman that is
Oh, there we go.
watching the counter. She kind of gives a quizzical look at Bastion and speaks to him briefly about whatever mission they were just on and the specifics of it, informing him of a few things quietly, kind of keeping an eye on you all as you kind of like fidget and move back and forth all around the room. And she kind of like almost raises her voice as one of you kind of seems to go somewhere that she isn't comfortable with, but the Bastion kind of waves her down and kind of takes control of the situation, says that you're okay. And he turns back to you. Obviously, we'll be compensating you for your assistance as we promised. I'm unsure how much she said, and you see, Allerd is, of course, 10 gold, I believe, per person. Yes, but in addition, and this is just as for helping us as well as friends, I'm going to pay for you to have nice rooms tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Oh,
Oh,
lovely.
fantastic. Thank you.
Kind of you.
And he kind of turns back to her and says, is there anybody in the red room? And she kind of, not at the moment, but I think there is a group coming in a few days. I don't believe they'll be staying that long. I could be wrong, but I think they're kind of on their way from one place to another.
Yeah, we shouldn't be staying more than a night or so.
And she kind of nods and hands him 3 keys. And he hands them to you guys. To whoever will have a key.
I'll take one.
I'll take one.
Morgan will also take a key.
Alave and Billion head on up, and he's like, so this place is not just an inn; it is also a tavern. It has access both into the city and out. I think, as we talked about a little bit briefly, Allerd is a little bit of a complicated place. I would avoid forays inside if you're not prepared to deal with it.
In what regard?
They're not very keen on outsiders. They generally keep to themselves and to their own business. There's a few very profitable industries here that are quite successful, and through those industries they do interact with the outside world, but they have a kind of natural distrust of a lot of groups. Adventurers is actually a group that they are a little bit more familiar with, but I know some of you in your group kind of have the appearance of
Vagabonds?
the opposite, highborn.
Oh.
There is a lot of old sentiments from the King's last war. Well, not the last war, but the King's War of the Valley. This was the last city to fall, and people here will sometimes maintain they have never fallen.
Ian,
Yeah? What's up, brother?
you're making
And if
noises.
they sense you are of the coast,
Okay.
they will dislike you. And he kind of looks around to several of you that all look pretty refined, especially like the paladins, and of course Morgan. All of you look like the kind of stereotypical examples of the coastal folks, which are used in a derogatory sense to imply elitism, etc. in these parts.
The coastal elites.
The coastal elites.
Well, that's good to know.
But this is the guild hall. We are the Outlander Guild, and in this place you'll find nothing but friendliness. We are extensions of the crown, and we are the law in these lands. We have a lot stronger of a role, we'll say, than some guilds in terms of the local government and such. There is no local militia. It was forbidden as part of their surrender. The lords of the local area were forced to send them the majority of their armed forces have to serve through Lord Treve and White Sinks. That's actually part of the guard comes from this part of the country there. It's why he has such a strong militia, but these militias are thus weakened. And to fill that power gap and to make sure there's orders remained, there are a few adventuring guilds, us included, that are contracted for that purpose. But you'll find that it is also very much a tavern. Tonight it will be a good place. It will be lively. There will be lots of interesting people here, and a lot of the more open-minded folks of this town.
All right.
I hate to bother. 2 questions. Is there a drinking champion here?
I imagine that would be a source of argument.
Do you have names?
Well, I think you've met probably the biggest drinker from a just pure alcoholic standpoint. As far as who can take the liquor the most, we have a few people that don't seem to have a limit on that. But I wouldn't really. It's kind of considered poor form to challenge them to drinking matches because they don't get drunk. So it's kind of like if I were to drink milk and you were to drink whiskey, obviously I'm going to win. So they're generally banned from friendly competition.
Oh. Damn it, I haven't drunk since college.
But I think your best bet is probably ask around, meet people, enjoy yourselves. But first, I'll show you over to the room. You can kind of settle in. There's baths. You can draw a bath. Wash off. I know some of you.
A bath. That sounds lovely.
Yes, everyone loves the dirty liquor. Also, Ian, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm cleaning a hookah lotus. I keep forgetting to mute myself.
All right. So he actually shows you out the front door. Over here.
That'll be fine.
To the south. Into a little courtyard in front. And the building shape is going to start making a lot more sense here in a moment. As there is a second part of the building that he leads you around to. Which is the actual inn part over here on the other side.
After we've left the desk area, when it's just us and the 3 we were traveling with.
Oh, well, 2 of them are already left.
Oh,
Well, that would make sense.
never mind then.
Yeah, they didn't really stand around. And he doesn't really show you around into detail of this bottom floor because he's going to take you up the stairwell and you're going to get a look. He's going to show you on the second floor. If you scroll up, you can see where the stairwell comes out and there is access to the bath.
I think due to walls, we can't get there.
Oh, can everyone else see what's going on now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to refresh your page.
Yeah.
Can you not look up? Can you not see it?
So
We can't move it because of the walls.
Oh, you can't move through the walls.
Yeah, it's a little awkward.
Like,
Yeah, I'll move you up there. That's my bad.
Thanks.
Well, I'm not even gonna bother because you're just looking at it. You don't really need to move around right now.
all right.
I'm gonna show you all the way to your room. I'm just kind of revealing only your areas right now because it could become relevant.
Okay.
It also could not become relevant. We'll find out. I don't know.
Oh, I'm interested in seeing what the red room is.
The
Oh,
top
Sam.
floor,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Chris.
So the top floor of the building is actually connected. And actually, let me just throw up a picture of this place. This is actually going to be the better way. This is how I should have started. I apologize. This is the general form. There's two sides to the building. One side is an inn, one side is a tavern, and they are connected along the top. And that space is also inn/tavern.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'm just going to throw you all up here, dude. You're all getting teleported. Get ready for everybody to crash.
Haven't even learned that spell yet.
The DM casts etherealness. Now we can move through the wall.
You're being thrown into your own walls and rooms and whatnot.
Huh.
I'm going to delete these doors so that you can move freely.
Oh dear.
It just takes a second.
Oh, I was going to room with Sam.
You can room wherever you like, dude. You find yourselves in a very well-furnished and fine suite with a number of rooms that branch off. Two rooms branch off directly while former rooms are aligned along a hallway. There's kind of a parlor with a few couches and kind of a bench and a chair. But yeah, you're able to kind of move around freely there. And at that point, Bastion is going to depart. If you'll excuse me, I have to get back to my group and discuss a few things. But I will see you tonight, hopefully.
That sounds great.
Hopefully.
Sounds good.
Man, who would have thought we'd already have 2 of our 3 nights on the road indoors?
It has been
Good
very
addition.
fortuitous.
quite fortuitous.
You guys did spot kind of like over where you were. You did actually see where kind of across the way you spotted where these two people right here are. That is Aleve and Billiam seem to have sat at a table right there.
Ooh. I would like to walk over and talk to Aleve and just say, "Oh, if you have some free time later, I'd love to continue."
You just you're gonna shout around there.
Oh, that's fine.
You find yourself at the top of a balcony. They're on the other side of the balcony.
Oh, yeah, I would shout.
Okay. She would have, of course. Perhaps a little bit later though.
That sounds great. I think we're meeting Bastion later. Later on, probably down in the tavern. Just whenever you're free.
Well, this is she would kind of you see everyone kind of like look kind of because you're like shouting across the room. She would kind of gesture to the whole room. Well, this is sort of like the guild space up here, and down below is more of like the public space. But you're welcome up here as our guests.
Oh, that sounds nice. I'll let everybody know. Thank you.
I will reveal it. Just see, you guys can be trusted to like not all move everywhere at once and crash the system, then we could have nice things. But
All right.
But I want my
No
character to
problem.
be there, Chris.
Oh my.
Chris, don't make me bring up the tyranny of fun again.
Can I make you mute yourself?
you know what? I'm give up. I'm just gonna reveal the whole thing.
That sounds great.
Thank you.
I don't know why you needed to have a tavern map be like
Yeah.
this in the first place.
Yeah, it is a lot like harder on every on
Every
your
day.
I'm sorry.
show.
We love you, Chris, but you know, sometimes you drink from the Kool-Aid.
I mean, it makes sense for like battle maps, but we're not fighting here yet.
Hopefully.
You don't know that.
I said yet. Give us 5 minutes.
True. Let's get into that drinking competition a little bit first.
Oh, trust me, Morgan wants
I will
to.
say the canon reason you guys are getting the whole thing revealed is that you're given several hours to explore this place because it's still relatively early in the afternoon. Nobody's really here, and you'll see a lot of tokens that I've placed. They will gradually appear throughout the evening, but they are not here yet.
Elrich's gonna take a few hours and try to decode some of the spell book. I don't know if we're planning on having a roll system in place for that, or if he just spends the time and we say he's doing that.
I'll say you can work on it. So as the nature of what we've discussed on how that works, it's more of that is where you would gain skills as you begin to level.
All right.
So no, I don't have a table of 1,000 things, because otherwise you will read that book a lot more times than the 20 times at most you could level. And I don't have that many things
That's fair.
for you from that. I mean, I would say that you can make a check to unravel a little bit more, but that you're not gaining the book seems to be able to show you in some ways, and it has for a while, what it wants to show you.
All right.
Or what you need to know. And it's a little bit less like, oh, tell me what your dark secrets are, dude. And the book's like, okay, dude. It's more like it shows you how to cast prestidigitation.
All right.
Huh.
I would like,
Morgan is going to spend a couple of minutes getting the room set up, and then he's going to go find where where Sam is. Hey, Sam.
Yeah.
I'm gonna head for a bath. You want to join me? I was thinking about possibly inquiring about bookstores in the area afterwards.
Are
You
all
turn
right,
into a
so-
dog a lot, Sam.
well, lots of lore questions here, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Is this like Romans where everyone just kind of eats it in together with the baths, or are we like,
No.
or is Morgan
Yes
gonna
and
bring it to me? Huh?
Different places, different ways. I will say that in an establishment like this, and you're beginning to gather, this is not just like a roadside tavern. This is a nice inn.
Yeah.
It seems to be catered towards some rougher folk as well, but it's a nice inn, and that because of that, it would be pretty obvious from your experience that you're not going to be in like one giant tub somewhere, because there isn't the facilities of that nature in this way. The town might have a bath of that sort. Larger cities certainly would, but for the most part, these people are going to be bathing privately or in local water sources.
Okay.
Depending on their station. In an inn like this, you would expect there to be a bathtub somewhere. One or two.
Okay. You know what? Yeah, why not? I'll join.
Right.
I'll come
go
with you, Morgan.
All right. I'm gonna go start looking for a proprietor and see if I can get a bath drawn. I tell him not to worry about the temperature too much. Lukewarm is fine.
No. Hot.
Sam says hot.
And you're returning to the desk. Of course. They actually do. They keep it prepared throughout the evening. So whenever you've used it, they will go and change it for the next.
Lovely. Thank you.
Did Bastion show you where to the second floor, west side?
Oh, God, I've gone off the map. West side.
I believe so.
Oh, you mean down here?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah, me and Sam will start heading over there. So, this group seems nice.
I haven't got any complaints so far. That Elrich fella seems a little
Actually, I really like him.
timid. No, I don't dislike him. It's an odd combination. Someone dealing with that level of magic and that intensity with that personality is potentially a dangerous combination. Just
I
keep
think
an
he'll
eye
make.
on him. Huh?
I agree, but I think he'll do fine with a little guidance.
Hopefully.
Seris still freaks me out.
No, it's definitely weird that nobody talks about. Like, I'm with you. It's weird nobody talks about the way that she talks. I think she's fine. Like, I don't. Aside from just like the weird cadence of how she talks, I don't see anything else that's evil. Like, she's not inherently evil, but like, it's just. It's like she's trying to like get into my soul every time she asks me a question, and I don't like it.
See, I feel like she's trying to get in your soul's pants, but that seems weird. Does that seem weird?
A little bit, but I know what you mean. No, I get that.
I still don't understand what the incest twins are. That's a little.
Well, I mean, I don't think they're. I think that's just Elrich. I think Elrich's just reading too much in there to that one. You see, I don't think they're a thing. I think they're just close because they were raised as orphans together.
I mean, they're sharing a tent though. Like
we're sharing a bath.
well, that's different.
And are you guys actively in this bathtub together?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a small bathtub. Like, it's large for some, but it isn't large enough for like 2 people.
It is.
Feet to head. Right? Feet to head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure, if you want to believe that, sure. It's not like I'm letting Sam, braid my hair. I have no problem with that.
Sam would be down to braid your hair.
But I mean, no, that's different. Like, this is just guy stuff. I mean, well, kind of guy stuff.
Yeah, I'll you missed a spot here.
Oh, thank you, darling. God, I love how you get your hair to curl like that.
Oh, thank you.
And scene.
All right. While they're taking a bath, what is everyone else doing?
I would like to go one-on-one about what Elrich talked to us about.
And I'm just going to read the whole time.
I'm by myself here, right?
What?
So I'm gonna light me a block of incense and meditate on what my oath might be, since that was a topic that was brought up previous session. That's what I'm doing.
All right. You kind of dwell upon the oath that you're aware of. It's something that's spoken about a lot in your order. It kind of goes hand in hand with the kind of older members of the group in terms of almost like their oaths are known. And when you take your oath, it becomes something that is known about you by those of your order and those that are. It's something that you live to uphold. It's something that is the source of your power. Some oaths are to protect others. Some oaths are to accomplish a goal or to simply serve Plor or to serve the greater good. There's all sorts of oaths, and usually the powers that those individuals possess are granted as a means to accomplish that oath and to make good on it. And you kind of dwell upon what you want and who you are, because your oath has to reflect those things. You just spend some time kind of putting your thoughts together in that regard. Elrich.
Elrich is not here right now.
Oh, Elrich is not here.
I said I was just reading.
He's just reading.
Yep. I was going to give you some reading, but
I'm here. I was just getting more water, and I thought I had more time.
I didn't see you here. Oh, sorry. All right, we'll go on to Seris. What are you doing? Because that interests me greatly.
So you said it's like early afternoon still.
Mm-hmm.
Being kind of dirty from the road, she'll probably take some inspiration from Samuel and Morgan and approach Riona about perhaps getting a bath and a little bit of girl talk in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please.
So much, yes.
I need to grab some of my things from my pack. I'll meet you in 5 minutes.
Yes, would as soon as Samuel and Morgan are out, I'd be more than willing to go down there. Yes.
How about I grab my things and you check on them? I think they've been in there a while.
Oh, we would hate for them to be sucked down a drain, wouldn't we?
Yes, I think we might need to check on them. They might be pruning up a bit.
Seris would go down and knock on the door.
I just feel like I'm going to wake up one day and she's just going to be staring over me, and I'm going to be butt naked and she's going to suck my stool out or something. You know?
I'll say that I would assume you guys aren't brazen enough to have the door open.
No, we're not.
In which case, you hear a knock at the door right when you say that.
Oh God, she's here.
Boy.
Don't be silly. It could be anyone. Yeah, who is it?
Seris.
Yeah.
Are you boys nearly done? Riona and I would like to take a bath.
Oh yes, almost finished.
Okay.
Almost.
Please make sure they change the water when you're done.
Well, of course, that'd be disgusting if we didn't. Like, come on.
Oh, Seris, do you want any like after bath perfumes? They have a selection in here. I don't know if we pay for them.
Oh, yes. What scents do they have?
Lavender, chamomile. Mostly floral. There's a strawberry one.
Do they have rose?
Rose water, right here. I'll leave it on the counter for you. I'm going to take the lavender, if that's okay.
Oh, fine by me.
Sam's gonna whisper into Morgan's ear, like, I swear to God, I was expecting her to ask if they had human skin scented.
Morgan whispers back, that's why I asked! That's why I asked! Anyway,
I'll hearing is.
I'll take the chamomile.
Yeah, Morgan will do the lavender. Ooh, we're gonna smell great, actually.
All right, so you two are able to collect your things and leave. And after a few minutes spent, the bath is refilled with newly heated water. It seems that there is more or less an apparatus for doing so that is associated with the fireplace that is in the room with the bath.
Just after that, I would probably arrive with some of my things in tow. Oh, they're out of the bath already? Lovely.
Already, it was like 40 minutes. I don't know how long your baths are, honey, but
So
just
as you guys enter, you would be immediately like,
There's two of you.
hold up. As the two of you enter the bathroom, it is not a bathroom like a restroom. It is just like a room with a bath. Like there is no like toilet or lavatory or chamber pot of any nature in here. But as you enter, there's only like a one-person bathtub, and you're kind of left questioning what the two of them did in here that whole time because they both came out freshly wet.
yeah, we did.
Oh, a wild imagination. Topics will be broached later this evening.
We have a few brothers of our order that had a similar situation.
Oh,
bold of you to assume Morgan identifies as a brother, but all right.
the church is always surprising.
At this point, I'd be surprised if he identifies as anything other than a book.
His other kin is Dewey Decimal.
I do believe Morgan said that there was some bath scents. Do you have a particular fragrance that you prefer?
As Riona drops off the face of the fucking planet.
Oh.
Oh no.
Whoa.
No.
Wow.
And then there were 5.
Well, as they enter the bathtub and the scene begins, we'll jump cut to Raknul and we'll come back.
Raknul just immediately opens, hey Liam, you want to take a bath together?
Not like covered in blood or like an excessive amount of debris. I need to wash it off. This is probably like sitting in that waiting room. What else is there to do? I put my stuff down. I locked the door. Should I be doing something else?
Everyone else kind of like comes and goes and is like doing things, and you're just kind of sitting there, Raknul, like, huh? Like,
Why are they doing this?
and this is an odd place for you to be.
Oh yeah, no, it's weird.
You have not been in places that like the regular like the tavern you were staying in White Sinks. That seemed pretty nice to you. Like, it was a pretty like that's what your idea of like a hotel was. Like, you've heard about these things. Your people don't really have them, obviously.
We just have bigger tents.
But like, you're sitting on a bench now, but there's something almost like a fur on top of the bench, but it's not a fur. It's like a cloth has things inside of it. And as you kind of squint,
Oh my gosh.
you get pricked by something, and you pull out, and there's a feather. And you're like, oh, is this like the pillows that you've had a feathered pillow before, but you've not seen them put them on benches. And it's all just very perplexing to you. There's a painting of somebody on the wall, but it's nobody you know.
Okay, so at this point, I'm convinced that Raknul's just wandering around the place, staring at like completely unassuming objects and being just like intensely curious about its existence.
Is this the beginning of Raknul's Asgard face?
Her rubber guy.
Oh, buddy, just wait until one of us gets the awaken spell and uses that bitch on a chair.
I'm pretty sure you could use it on me. It would be the same effect.
All right. So as Raknul kind of wanders around, repeatedly saying, we will rejoin the Bath Crew Part 2.
Awesome.
Seris and Riona. Seris, as you were saying.
Yes, Riona, is there a particular bath scent that you prefer? A fragrance that you would like to?
Oh, let me look. It
What
looks
do you
like
think,
someone used all of the chamomile and most of the lavender.
What do you think
Ooh,
Elrich
strawberry.
might like?
Well, I like the strawberry one.
Do you think Elrich would like that one?
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
He seems to fancy you a little bit.
Does he? I hadn't noticed.
I think so. Call it a intuition.
Oh, well, thank you.
The strawberry then?
Yeah.
And she'll Seris will kind of grab it and drop a couple like drops of the oil into the water, and proceed to undress and get in.
Riona will also undress and hop in the bath.
As opposed to
Cannonball.
Cannonball in the bath.
Divine Smite as you hit the water.
Ooh,
I
it's
love the expression on
nice
Chris's
and
face right
bubbly.
now.
So I noticed that you're rather intrigued by meeting that elf.
Yes.
I mean, I guess I hadn't realized that you were of elvish descent. Your kind is rather rare. Do you know where you are from besides the
Well,
island?
I'm pretty sure I'm from this continent. And she'd kind of blush and look down, and like embarrassed.
Well, I've always read these stories where orphans are left, but they're usually given some token of their parents. Do you have anything like that?
Well, I was left kind of young. Well, kind of young and also rather not, I guess, for my order. Also, I would like to mention that you would notice, since Riona is actually unclothed, for the first time ever.
The first time this campaign, she has bathed before.
Right. First time on screen. Anyway, she would have tiny paw prints like right on her clavicle. In very, very dark ink. Anyways. Well, I was left with the Order of Pelor when I was about 2, which usually, you're usually left a little bit earlier than that or much later. Like infant or after a plague or an illness.
Noticing I'm assuming would be tattoos, just like, and
Yeah.
she's gonna kind of like reach out and like kind of trace them with like fingernail.
That tickles.
Is this from the order?
Holy crap, it's getting steamy up in here.
Yeah, we just took a bath together, and y'all are like taking it to a whole new level, man. I appreciate it.
We're doing actual backstory stuff and important things. Interpreting.
Speaking of which, I do actually have something to mention about the bath once.
Yeah, I was getting to that as well, Jimmy. We'll go back to it.
Well, actually, they kind of are always been there. I kind of think it's a birthmark, maybe, possibly.
Would these have ever looked like any birthmark I've ever seen, Chris?
No.
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 No. Well, perhaps
Birthmarks generally have like kind of a, I mean, like each one is a little bit different, but it's usually kind of like, it's not a very defined shape. And it's usually like kind of a shade of brown. This is black.
And they have like fine edges.
This looks like the impression a paw would leave in mud.
Okay.
Like, it is very, very like clear cut. Like a tattoo.
Like, and they're not cute and small either. They're relatively big.
Okay. Well, perhaps Allerd will be able to illuminate those for us.
Well, perhaps. I don't know. They've just kind of always been there. No one's ever really been able to shed light on them before.
Very interesting. Where are you planning on going then? Are you just traveling with Liam? Is this part of your final tests as a part of your order?
It's kind of like the final test, but also I'm kind of trying to do, I have some, I'm kind of trying to find my parents. It's a little difficult. I don't really have a lot of information.
Now, are you Elvish on your maternal or paternal side?
Oh, my mom. I think, as far as I remember, I mean, I suppose, Dad could have had long hair, but, she looked very feminine from what I can recall as a 2-year-old.
Good.
But, yeah, she was, I don't really have any names, per se. Don't really have a last name, but, I vaguely remember she had very, bright red hair. That's really all I have to go on so far. And woods. I remember the woods.
Not much.
No.
But, I am very sorry that she felt that she needed to give you up. She really missed out.
Thank you.
And on that, Seris probably get out of the tub and start drying off.
All right.
I'll follow her lead and also.
Oh, I was going to ask you, Blake, before you weren't here when I wanted it. You're upstairs reading the book.
Yeah.
Sorry for kind of blowing you off initially on that. But could you go ahead and give me an Arcana check?
Sure.
Because you are able to like read the book and you are able to understand new things about the book. You just aren't able to unlock new secrets. And
Yeah.
Like,
I will say if it comes up, and because Elrich definitely does this, so it might come up if people try to read his. To decode a code is just an intelligence check.
Gotcha.
Don't know if it's that or not.
If you're trying to decode a code, sure.
I assumed that's how the book was written, but I will.
And to clarify, you're starting to get hints at a sentient nature to this book, but as far as everything Elrich's always seen, it's just been in static code. Somewhat magical code, but this is the first inklings that Elric's getting that it has more magic to it than just being a magical object.
Definitely makes him feel better about all of this. Sure. That is a 13.
It's a lot of the same things. There's a lot of descriptions on energy, power, absorption, distillation techniques for practicing, almost like breathing exercises.
All right.
But beyond that, you aren't able to really answer any of your questions because when you go back to it and you start with the book, it's familiar. It doesn't seem as dark or as evil. It doesn't seem unfriendly. It's just knowledge. It's just information. And that there's all these kind of negative connotations about it, and they kind of drift away as you read it. And you kind of begin to realize just because something isn't understood doesn't inherently make it evil, and just because something's dark doesn't make it bad. There are shades between, and your kind of mind drifts across some of those things, and then you realize you've read something like that. There is some philosophy written in the sidelines. There are some lines that you kind of overlooked early on in the book to that effect. But then that kind of makes somebody like Ulrich a little paranoid. Did I just think that thing, or did the book make me think that thing? Is the book trying to make me think that it is not as bad as it is? Is it trying to put me at ease? And why? And Ulrich is left in this even more conflicted state between paranoia and comfort. But, the book is far from finishing, or far from being unraveled. And there's a lot of knowledge still to be gained from it, even if the threat still stands.
All right.
I would say that as everyone else is wrapping up their business, the sun has begun to drop a little bit lower in the sky. People have begun to finish and close their shops around town and go home. And those that have no other plans have begun to filter into the tavern. The clouds that you saw before have gathered thicker now. Before the sun sets, it is obscured. It grows dark early because it is cloud covered. It is cloudy. I don't know how to say that better. But there is no sunset properly, and there won't be because a light drizzle has rolled in and kind of turns everything just amuck. And while that keeps some people home, others are driven to the tavern.
Well, so much for going out and exploring, despite being told not to. I suppose we're inside and drinking tonight.
Oh, nice. I forgot to tell you. Bastion and Eleva invited us to their the personal tavern for the guild.
Oh yeah.
Session. I've not drank before, so I don't know what I'll do there.
Well, you can always have your first beer.
I could do that.
Don't worry, Elrich. All you've got to do is just keep pace with me.
You know what?
Elrich, I suggest you do not do that, and that is a terrible idea.
You know what? I don't know. It doesn't sound like the worst idea for Elrich today.
I'm not sure what you guys mean, but sure.
Also, we still need to talk with Elev's friend concerning your book.
So, I don't think he's around, but I also kind of wanted to bring that up to the group. Knowing a little more what this is, not a great idea, or not a great deal, but how about we just not mention that around anyone ever? Just in case.
I mean, we could certainly avoid the topic, but
I don't know how much anyone else can claim. What I've learned, kind of because this is my area of expertise, but if it is something of power, I don't want to. Knowing that, I kind of want to keep it a little more under the undercovers.
I mean, you were the one who
ladies and
showed her
gentlemen,
the book.
Well, that was before I knew that it had disappearing text and a magic aura. And...
as riveting conversation is, gentlemen and ladies. We're staying at a nice place tonight. Why don't we at least enjoy it? Enough of the somber nonsense. We'll deal with things as they arise. To the bar.
You can always be reserved around.
And I shove everyone out the room.
Oh, fine.
Pour everyone out.
Riona, would you like to dance?
Oh, that sounds lovely. Thank you. I'm so glad I wore my official robes for this. They're more fun.
I'm still in my plate. I'm still in my scale mail. I don't have any.
Elrich has one outfit.
She'd still have her like morning star on her.
I thought you were about to say, "I'm glad I wore my dancing plate."
To try and make it on what I fucked up earlier, you find that the tavern is built in kind of 3 floors, as you've seen. The bottom floor is kind of just entryway, but the second floor on the far side of the one you're staying is the actual tavern, and you can see it in the center of the map. There's a kind of L-shaped bar in which drinks can be purchased. There's a few barrels that are usually kept out and available. Once you've purchased, there is a entry fee for receiving a mug that is associated with the tavern. When you have that mug, you can fill it as many times. But the ale that you fill that with is pretty shitty ale, so a lot of people are drinking other things which they're requesting for the back room. It's kind of a standard fare down there. It's nothing unusual to most of you. You've been in taverns, even if you haven't drank like Orphic, you've been in a tavern before because they are natural gathering places. Like these are the natural community centers in many small towns. Upstairs is a different story. It's a very lavish area. They aren't really served up here as much as they go downstairs and they get what they want and they bring it back. They can get food, but it seems that even the people that you saw were more like tavern workers are members of the guild themselves. It doesn't seem like there are like employees around as much as there are guild members paying their dues by completing other tasks. Even the people that were changing the bathwater, you now see one of them is set at the table with 2 daggers out playing kind of a game of back and forth with somebody that shows that she has quite the skill with the blade. You begin to realize that this is just kind of an odd little family that happens to run a tavern. Very large family, but it's kind of an odd juxtaposition. And the 2 layers of the tavern are collected or connected by kind of a balcony area, kind of a open area. That's this shadowed part where the staircase comes up, but it kind of means that the noise of both sides carry over. You can hear a bard loudly singing, somewhat well downstairs, of a number of things related to the rain and to the weather and to the changing of seasons and all that. It's kind of a little dreary, but it sets the tone as everybody is kind of filtering in and drying off. You guys can start wherever you will, and are free to search around and look at people.
Well, Morgan.
Right.
Oh, go ahead, Liam.
Oh, no, you can go ahead. I mean, I was just dragging.
Well, yeah, I thought we were dancing.
Oh yeah, no, I'm taking Riona, and we're gonna go have a girls' night.
Well, let's do this.
Because they're so fun.
Hell yeah! You said the bard was down here in the lower levels.
Yes, the bard is over here. There is kind of a part where it's like the tavern is built into the wall, and it very much is like, this doesn't seem like a tavern. This seems like a guardhouse, like a military structure. But they've laid down fine wood, they've brought in a lot of fine furniture, they've got nice fixtures up, and it's a tavern now. But there, in one part where it's kind of set into the wall, there's two, like, what do you call those things you shoot out of?
Arrow slits?
Arrow slits is a good word for it. There's two arrow slits, and in front of that section has a raised place where archers would normally stand, raised kind of above the normal floor, and now that has become a stage.
I will go up to the bard, and I'll say, excuse me, friend. Would you mind playing something a little bit more energetic?
Any suggestions?
The dancing and the dreaming.
Genius.
And I'll give
to begin again.
And I'll put 2 silver down on the.
You asked about that song, but then as it kind of goes, you kind of remember that a lot of the places that are talked about, the song, the jingle, the things referenced within the lyrics, that's not from this coast. And you realize that while you've heard this song in almost every tavern along the lake, you haven't heard it one time since you got to the Royal Coast. But this bard knew it offhand.
Oh. I will file that away for later, and I will go dance with Riona.
I love this song.
Yeah, my mother used to sing it to me when I was little.
Well, that sounds lovely.
It really wasn't.
Okay, well,
Morgan.
should we dance then?
Of course. I hope you don't mind leading. It's been a while.
I don't mind.
Performance checks, Chris?
Sure. Where are you guys doing this, by the way?
I this corner over here. Bard's loud enough, isn't he? We're like over here.
Yeah, she is.
Where's the bard?
He's up here.
Okay.
But she's quite loud, and the acoustics are designed to hear that alcove.
Okay.
Like,
It's just wonderful.
Is that a performance check to dance?
Yes.
Why not?
Oh,
It's,
decent.
it's not an arcana check.
I am waiting for
Not
Morgan.
with that attitude.
There it is.
So, you guys dance. Like, Riona, you've been taught, like, formal dances primarily. Like the sorts that are of higher status. The paladins, and really the clerics in general, but really the paladins, when they interact in these kind of social situations, it is often at the side of a nobleman. Like, it is often in the service of lords and in high courts. So, like, it's a very fast-paced jig. It is a little bit less like the dance that it doesn't function quite the way you thought it was. You kind of had to speed it up, and it ends up being really awkward. And as far as you could tell, Morgan has never danced before in his life.
Oh boy.
And to make matters worse, this is like the beginning of the night. This is like 5 o'clock. People haven't really got to the big drinking part. They've got to like the ordering their meal before all the friends show up for the drinking and dancing part. So like, yeah, they're down for the faster music. Like everybody's kind of like, but as soon as you guys start dancing, like you see like the people at the benches, they kind of like slide down a bench. Like they're kind of like, okay, all right, aggressive. That's a little dramatic.
That's happening.
It's on brand for Morgan, as far as you know.
Gosh.
But now Samuel has a seat. You're welcome, buddy.
Thank you. Oh, speaking. Do we want to go over one more bath time story with
Yes.
Sam and Morgan?
Morgan.
As I'm catching
but we'll say, because we aren't going to go retroactive with this, but I will say you didn't comment on, for whatever reason, was that there was a kind of, grotesque looking mark on the chest of Samuel. Samuel, would you like to describe the mark?
Yeah, it would have been like a jagged, kind of like, probably about that long, kind of jagged mark over the left side of his chest, covering over like the left pectoral.
Yeah, Morgan wouldn't have commented on it.
It's been about,
somebody
probably
else's
about that
body.
long, about yay wide.
Morgan, you have like your background. You've been trained in many sciences. One of them is medicine. Not that you've been trained in medicine, but that you've attended courses in it. You've read books on it. That looked like a serious stab scar, like the sort that one would see from a blade that has been rung through them.
Ooh.
You'd be shocked to not find one on the other side. But you never saw his back because you guys were kind of like facing awkwardly, like leg to leg entwining in the back.
Oh
I
my.
should have washed
I
his
thought they were
back.
braiding each other's hair. Wouldn't they be back to chest?
Morgan and Riona are dancing, and it's getting Morgan's mind off of it, hearing this song and all that. What is everyone?
Riona just hears Morgan mumble as he's awkwardly cabbage patching.
Who is guiding Elrich through his first night of drinking?
Oh, that's a good.
Sam will step up to the table here.
Okay.
I mean, I was gonna walk up to the bar and order a beverage.
Kind of a blonde, like probably 16, 17-year-old girl comes up. What'll it be?
Did we notice what everyone else is kind of drinking? Is it like ale or beer? Or
So you see that, like I said earlier, there's a house drink, there's a house mug, and there's a barrel like right in front of you that is for filling that up. You don't need to talk to her. But a few other people, especially those that are in nicer clothes, have like separate beverages of one sort or another.
Oh, I asked for the house.
You would imagine that in a place like this, traditionally, there's the house ale. Then there are a number of ales that come from families in the surrounding area or from different locations that kind of rotate. Then there is usually also some offering of wine and harder liquor.
Okay, I'll have whatever the house is fine.
Absolutely, that'll be wrong accent. I don't know where that fucking came.
No problem.
Absolutely, that'll
Just
be
get
5
yourself
silver.
straight. Let's see. Let me take a look at the old.
Coin
How
pouch.
much?
That's
5
for
silver.
all of
We
you,
did
right?
get 10 more gold.
That's all of you, right?
Say what?
That's 5 for all of you, right?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Oh, 5 for all, not 5 for each.
No,
I
no.
will plop. Oh shoot. Okay, here we go. You're getting used to this. I guess I'll just plop a gold on the counter.
As you do that, you see the woman who had checked you in come by earlier, or come by. Oh, no, they're guests. And she's, oh, I'm sorry. And she just gives you the mug without paying.
Oh.
Nice.
Waffle
All
good
this
open.
hospitality is actually making me a bit uncomfortable, to be perfectly honest.
I don't know what Morgan and Riona are doing, but it's making me uncomfortable.
And as you say that, Raknul, they kind of bump into the back of Liam there.
Sorry, Liam.
No, somehow this has managed to be the most awkward experience I've had with Morgan today.
No problem. Enjoy yourselves.
No, it's step, step, twirl, dip, step, twirl.
You don't know what you're talking about. I'm the one doing the stats.
It's the 5Ds: dodge, dip, duck, dive, and dodge.
Oh my.
You don't know anything about the sunburst waltz.
They call it the sunburst waltz here.
Samuel, where did you learn how to dance? Those are the steps.
Military Academy.
The line on the is a little bit rough.
Morgan, were you trying to say something earlier?
You see, about this time Bastion shows up. Well, I'm glad you seem to be enjoying yourselves. Make yourselves at home. I don't know if they showed you upstairs yet.
Oh, not yet.
But you're welcome to go and meet people up there. I'm sure Allerd and Billiam will be happy to tell the tale, as long as Billiam's able to take credit for most of it. I have a few things to read, so I'll just be over here. But if you have any, want to talk or anything, of course, I'll probably be up a little bit later. And he kind of takes a seat in one of these side alcoves over here.
What time does the bard get off?
What do you mean by get off?
I mean, when he stops working. If it was the other one, you could just
When
point
he's
at the
getting
clock.
off.
Whatever he feels like it, I imagine.
I imagine. I don't know. You can ask whoever you're talking about.
The bard that you said knew the song I mentioned.
Oh, the bard. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I didn't hear what word you said. But
The bard
he
definitely gets off whenever they feel like it.
Bastion does not seem to be aware of any bard-related
Questions.
things. And he kind of opens up two books and then a small journal in the center and begins to kind of go through the two books, reading and writing.
Well, Morgan, if you like the bard, we can go over and talk to them.
No, it's not that I like. He's cute, but it's not that.
It's a she.
Oh, she's cute, but it's not that. Look, DM. Sometimes it's hard to tell.
I'll say, it is, and there are many people within this world that are on a spectrum between. This particular bard is not one of them. She is very much a female, and is very much dressed in a way that is of a flirty nature, that is a very bardy kind of bard way. She's dressed like Seris talks.
Wow. Hashtag me too.
Not to say anything about that sort of thing, just that she is very much in a it is not a middle ground sort of thing. It's not an androgynous individual.
Okay. All right. But no, it's not that. They're very cute. It's just, well, ever since I got here, I've not heard that song at all.
Well, I guess that's true.
Because that song, it's where I'm from. So it's a little weird. Just kind of interested.
Well,
Then,
I'm sure as a bard, they travel, and I don't know. Maybe she picked it up somewhere.
maybe. It's just worth looking into. I'm
Okay.
curious. Also, how was the bath with Seris? Did she try anything weird?
Seris, as you say that, Seris, you hear him ask that from 1.5 feet behind him.
You would turn around and say, no, did Samuel? kind of giving you like an inquisitive stare as to like, why were you both in the bath together?
I turn my back to Sam, and I don't say anything, but I hold out my hands out like as if to give a measure.
Well, no, she didn't try anything. Just, lots of chat.
And
That's nice.
you would probably notice that Seris is no longer. I'm imagining most of you are probably wearing like the same clothes.
Mhm.
Seris is not.
Oh,
She's actually wearing that velour dress robes.
Is no longer in her, leather traveling gear. She's now in a dress that is it's modest, but complements her well.
what color?
Kind of like a deep forest green, and you notice it really makes her eyes pop.
Ooh. Does she have heels, or is it just standard boots?
Stilettos or nothing.
Yeah, okay.
Respect. Mad respect. By the way, Seris, you look lovely.
Thank you, Morgan.
Still terrifying. Still super scary.
Oh, gosh.
Anyone else?
Continues.
Seris would, grab her pint of ale and make her way back upstairs to strike up some conversation with the guild members.
All right.
I would say Elrich's already downed 3 mugs, not realizing he needs to pace himself.
I'm gonna walk over.
There.
All right, give me a Constitution saving throw, sir.
Oh,
Can
baby, no.
I elect to make it with disadvantage?
I was just about to ask the same thing.
Yes. I don't think you can. I'm not going to allow it for you, Jimmy, but...
Oh, no, I was going to suggest that he should make it with this. He should make it
Oh,
with this.
Oh, okay.
all right then.
Hey.
Apparently you're okay at drinking.
You're kind of in that awkward place where it's like, it's really bad and you don't want to drink more of it. Like, you really don't. Like, you force yourself to drink more of it, but you're like feeling almost sick. Not like before you get drunk, you're feeling sick because it's so bad.
Oh, is he getting the burps?
I cannot imagine why anybody anywhere would drink this god awful thing.
Are
And
you
then on
disagreeing?
your last drink, it's not as bad.
Oh, no.
And your face is a little warm, and
Yeah.
you kind of are laughing at the things that are happening around you, even the ones that aren't as funny as like me.
Go Morgan!
You're not
my.
You're not that drunk.
Walk over to the bar, over next to Elrich, I guess. I can't move my character. Oh my god. Anyways, and she's just gonna go, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?"
Doing pretty good.
Good.
A lot better now.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. Miss, could I have a mug and a pitcher?
What's the picture?
Of course. What a picture of.
Oh, just a picture of the house is fine, or a picture for the house.
Well, you guys you have mugs, yeah.
Oh, I was gonna head upstairs though.
Oh, they have barrels upstairs as well.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
I will go over to Elrich and pat Sam on the shoulder, and I will carefully start lifting him up. Come on, buddy. Let's move this party upstairs and maybe slow down a bit. Let me catch up.
And to clarify,
Yeah, sure. And
Elrich is like not drunk.
yeah, like
No.
You got 3 beers.
yeah.
No, but we know but that pace is not sustainable as
it's
someone
not
who drinks like Elrich.
When you go to like pick him up, like he's not like unstable, and he's kind of like, huh? But like not in a like drunk way, but more of a like treat me like a child kind of like look on his face. And you begin to realize that maybe you've underestimated Elrich's ability to hold alcohol, as I personally, as a DM, have.
Everyone has.
Oh my gosh, come on.
Oh,
Time for the dice to be that way.
Morgan gets a glint of challenge in his eye.
Oh no.
As this is all happening, Seris, you've already gone upstairs. You see a room full of people. I'll go around to those 4 tables that you see. There's one empty long table that you passed. There's nobody sitting there yet. There's one table, and there's 2 gentlemen that seemed in a winged reptilian creature. At first you're like, that's a drake, but it doesn't look like drakes you've seen elsewhere. It's kind of in the same vein. And they all seem to be playing cards of some sort. And the drake is also playing cards and speaking. And you're like, that is not like the drakes that I've had in the desert. That's odd. And then you look next to them, and there are 3 individuals that seem to be playing some form of game that involves almost stabbing each other. You can't figure out what the rules are, but there's 3 humans, 2 males and a woman, and then a cat.
Like a tabaxi or an actual cat?
Huh. Never seen one of those before. And then you look across the room, and there's the table with Billiam and Ilave, and you know them. They're normal-ish. Billiam seems to be kind of whittling on bone, but that's kind of the way he is. But across from them, then you see a fighter-looking individual, like a plate armor individual with a broadsword out on the table, and another individual that's standing on the table and is eye to eye with him. This is like not like a gnome. This is like smaller than a gnome. This is like doll-sized humanoid
Oh,
who seems to be having an argument with them. It's an odd room.
so Chris, to clarify, when you said there's a cat, did you mean there's a humanoid cat, or do you mean there's a literal actual cat?
There's a tabaxi.
Oh,
Okay.
it's like this cat is playing the stabbing game. It fits. I'm not going to question.
I mean, it's a cat.
Just uses his claws.
Seris would probably make her way over to Allerd.
All right.
Because she's a familiar face.
All right.
Before, but yeah, we'll start with that.
How are you guys getting along? Seris, right?
Yes, Allerd.
Yes. Have a seat.
Oh, thank you. I thought I would. You were a familiar face in a crowd, so.
Billiam turns to you. I was just telling her all the stuff I'm going to make out of that thing we just killed.
Oh. And what will you make, Billiam?
Well, right now I'm making it's going to be like a knife, but it's going to have like a compartment inside where you can put like poisons and shit.
Oh. I'm very interested in that. Is he a good craftsman, Allerd?
And she opens her mouth. He's like, oh yeah, I'm a great craftsman. I've been doing it for years. I'm not like a caster per se, but that doesn't mean that I can't craft magical items. It just requires a little bit more unique finesse and workmanship. And she turns, and by that he means me casting the spell. He is made.
Oh my gosh.
Interesting.
But it's always it's a partnership, really. It's a partnership.
So you give her half the coin that you make from the item, then?
Yeah, of course.
She's gonna kind of like.
You see that she kind of rolls her eyes. I'm sure that if he ever got around to selling any of it, instead of keeping it all for himself and hoarding an ungodly number of different magical items and weapons that he will never use, then yes, I'm sure he would give me part of the proceeds. But I think that usually they don't go much farther than his possession. Well, I'm proud of them. I want to keep them. They're nice. They remind me of you. They remind me of me, which I like those 2 things very much. Some people spend all the gold in the world looking for the things they like. I just go and kill something and make something out of it. I'm happy. And she kind of shakes her head, and you can tell like some of this is him just like putting on a facade about the thing, hey, all this, but definitely there's a lot of these. This is like an old argument.
Well, you've done something most people will never do, Billiam.
I've done a lot of things that most people will never do.
Oh, I know. You've told us several of them. No, she's kind of gonna like turn towards Elev and it's like, so you said that, the other gentleman that was with us, maybe he said, that this city's a bit different than the others. That the guild plays a rather important role in the government.
Yes, so we act as the militia here. We keep law and order a little bit, and that's a little bit true in for adventures in many parts of the country, but especially in these parts. There was a disarmament of sorts that occurred after the war due to their continued resistance, and a few things they did. A few things that we did. Luckily, there was never a formal siege of the city. There was never any great battles with many losses of life, but that doesn't mean that the scars didn't run as deep from the few that were there. And while there is a governor, so there's the governor in Tree, but there's also a mayor here. But unlike the other towns, this mayor in specific, and only this mayor, is not elected by the populace of the town. They are selected by the governor directly. In the other parts of the Vale, at least, all of the towns elect or select through some other means their own mayors. And they are subservient to the governor, who is in turn knelt to the crown. But in this part, this mayor has been selected by the governor, going the other way around, you see. And we served him directly when it comes to those our other duties besides just standard adventuring.
And is the governor seated in this town, or just the mayor?
No, the governor's so I call him the better way to say that is Lord Treve. He is the governor of the Great Vale, but that's just one of his titles. He is Lord Treve. He's the Lord of White Sinks.
Oh, okay. Do you think the mayor would be in the tavern this evening?
Perhaps. He does come around from time to time.
And does the guild do their duties based here, or do you have like another headquarters?
This is our guild hall, so this is kind of our central location. A lot of our adventures, our missions, our quests take us all over the country and even beyond sometimes. But as far as our government role, our militia role, that is localized here.
Okay. Well, I suppose that's enough business for today, but is there anybody here that I should make it a point to talk to?
I mean, I think everyone's got a little bit of interesting story to themselves. I don't know too much. I learned a little bit about the others, but I don't know too much about your interest. What is it that you do? Are you a swordsman? Are you an archer?
Yes. A rapier is my weapon of choice.
Well, they're currently playing with daggers, but that group over there, all four of them are quite accomplished in the realm of finesse.
And what is that creature on the table there? I've seen things of the like, but never anything quite like that.
Are you pointing at the gnome, the like mini gnome?
No, the like drake.
The drake.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Isabella.
Isabella. she's gonna kind of give like this like look of like continue.
And she seems kind of like there's kind of a well, she's a dragon.
Like a true dragon.
So she's kind of like a symbol of our guild. It's kind of famous. But yes, she's a dragon. About 12 years old.
Oh. Now that is very interesting. I didn't think that there were dragons left on the continent.
Well, you might know that the copper dragon that serves the king, perhaps.
Oh,
Thoriel, that is one of his daughters.
does she look coppery?
No, but you aren't very familiar with dragons.
True.
Make an Arcana check, I'll say.
It's a sodium dragon. It's just a ticking time bomb.
14.
You know, like, you don't know much about dragons, but I mean, you know that, like, usually they're either, like, metallic or chromatic? That dragon looks pretty green to you. And, like, copper can be green. That's a pretty green-looking dragon to you.
Wait a minute.
Well, Seris will kind of like dismiss herself and Billiam, I hope your dagger turns out the way that you want it.
Well, thank you.
And she'll kind of get up and like go introduce herself to this dragon and this group playing cards.
All right. You just kind of walk up to the table?
Yeah, I'll go and like sit down.
So the dragon and the man sitting across from her, who is kind of dressed in, basically he has a kind of brass armor that is covered in a cloak, like kind of a brown tattered cloak that he's got kind of thrown back. They are staring intently into each other's eyes and do not notice your approach in the least. The other man is kind of wearing simple leather armor, and he has kind of a device that he was kind of got propped up against the table that you've never seen before. Well, you've seen them before, but you don't know what they are. You've seen them a lot since you got here. There was a bunch of them on the boats. You don't know what it is, but it's some sort of weapon. It is a long metal thing that they like hold like a crossbow. You're afraid at this point. You've been kind of too afraid to ask the like people in the circumstances you've been in what those things are, other than the fact that they seem to hold them like weapons. They do not have them where you're from.
Okay.
But he kind of perks up. Hi there.
Hello.
I think
What?
you're one of them the guests, right? The adventuring party that's coming through.
Yes, we met some of your guild members on the road and helped
Yeah.
them take down an animal.
They kind of mentioned y'all be coming through. He kind of like, well, my name's John. That's Veg and Isabella, but they're a little preoccupied right now.
Oh, that's fine.
And you see that at that point, Veg, the man, puts down one more gold piece, and the dragon kind of flicks her tail and like throws another gold piece out. And then he goes, and she kind of taps her little nose on the table, and then they both, she kind of flicks over her cards and he flips over his cards. And then he smiles real big and takes the whole large amount of gold that he goes back in the middle of the table. And she's, I fucking hate cards. Can we not play cards any goddamn more? And like the dragon that's the dragon talking. She's like, kind of sweeping the cards up into a like haphazard pile to the side. And then she sees you. You're odd. And that's rude.
I could say the same about you.
I'm a dragon. Nobody says I'm odd. They just say that's a fucking dragon over there.
The mouth on this one.
And Veg, the guy, I've heard many people call you odd. And I would say that while this individual may be in your eyes a little odd to the appearance, maybe you should take it as offensive that when people meet you and the more they talk to you, the more they say it's a little odd that you are the way you are. And she like immediately like opens her jaw like she's about to breathe, and he's like, "Hey!" And there's like this staring match resumes, and she closes the jaw. I'm sorry if I was rude. I like to be forward with people and up front.
Oh, no offense taken, Isabella. It's refreshing.
So I would normally I would normally offer to play cards, but I think that might be a sore subject. Join us for a game of dice.
Oh, I'm not much of a gambler. If you show me the rules, perhaps.
Of course. And he kind of stretches, and he pulls out a few dice that are like, they are not like, you're familiar with box dice. Your people don't really play with them so much, but you've seen them since you've come to this country. But these are like oddly shaped dice with more numbers than 6.
So have you heard of a tabletop RPG?
They're polyhedral even.
So the rules of this game are simple. It goes in rounds. We begin with this die, and it's like a triangle pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
And you roll it, and you get a number. And you don't show us what the number is. We all roll them, and then we bet. And everyone who remains in rolls again, a higher die. And we go up and up until we get to this one, and it's almost like a round die with 12 sides. And then when we get to that one, when everyone's rolled that one, we bet until we all stop betting, stop raising or calling, and then we reveal.
And the highest number wins?
The highest number wins unless you have duplicates. If you have 3 of a kind of any of the lower numbers, then that will beat anything else except another 3, except a 4, and a 5 is the greatest.
Oh.
Not
It's
a 6.
easier if I just show you. And he hands you like a set of 5 dice.
Okay.
And everyone goes around the table and is going to roll a d4. It's what the first die is.
You want me to actually roll a d4?
Yes, I guess you can't hide it from me. That does make this complicated, doesn't it?
It does.
Mm-hmm.
I could find my hard die at home, and I could roll those.
I'll just behave and not cheat.
Just behave.
So they all roll, and hold, and there's kind of a moment of pause, and I guess I'll go first. And he slaps down 5 gold pieces at the center of the table.
Oh shit!
And you see immediately the John, the man with the device you do not understand. Hold up. Not everybody is as rich as your blood or as mine. Perhaps we should just keep it something a little bit smaller denomination just for the first game. And
John, don't ruin this for us.
okay. All right. And he pulls it back and he puts out 1 silver piece.
I think I can manage that.
And then then they all kind of look to you.
I too will put out 1 silver piece.
All right. John is going to put out 2 silver pieces, as will the dragon, as will
Elizabeth?
Veg.
No.
Miss.
6.
Back to me.
Yep.
Here, I need to make a note as to what I'm putting down.
Pot is at 6. You have put in 1.
Papers, nothing I can write on. Well, since I only had 1 silver piece, I guess we'll put down 1 gold piece.
All right. As you put that, they all kind of, ooh, yeah, it's kind of like a, and they'll all match using copper, but they just match. They don't raise, or not
Okay.
silver. So that brings it up to effectively 11 each.
I'll be back in a second, guys.
And as it comes back to your turn, he says, and now we roll the next die. And he says, so you take this one, and he shows you there's like it's a D6.
Okay.
And you roll that. And you were the last to go, so you were the first to go this time.
Is there a what's the term in check where you don't bet like in poker?
Yeah, you can pass.
Yeah, I'll just check on this one.
The John also checks. Isabella does not raise, but then Veg is going to raise by 5, so that'd be 16, and then it goes back to you.
5 silver or 5 gold? Okay. Okay. Keeping track of the pot for you.
Since I don't have the coins on me, can we say we can break gold later if we need to?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll call and do 5 gold. Or 5 silver, I'm sorry.
The other 2 will as well. And he will say, and now we roll again with a D8. At this point, there's many scrutinous looks being cast around the table by each of them at one another. And he passes. And it's to you.
How does this go up to D12s?
Yep.
Or D10?
D12.
D12. I'll check.
John sits for a long minute, and then he raises by 8. And you see that Isabella is about to push coins forward, and Veg's like, "Why are you even doing that? Like, we both know you. Like, I can read it all over your tail. Like, you've got nothing." And I can play if I want to play. You don't know what I have. He's like, I know exactly what you have, which is nothing. And she, out of spite, throws in she raises it all the way up to 30, so that is 14 more than it was. and then he will match that. Will you match that?
Is that you said that'd be 3 gold pieces, right? 30 silver.
So that'd be 3 gold pieces total across the whole bet. So she just put in 14 silver.
Okay. And he put in 14 silver, or he raised?
Oh no, he brought it up. He matched.
Okay.
So you need to add in 14 silver to match their bet.
Yeah. And you said that if you get like 3 of a kind in any of your like on your dice rolls, that's like good.
Yes.
5 being the highest.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll call.
All right. And John will call as well, and then they will go to the D10. And the moment she rolls hers, the dragon just like flicks her tail, like, fuck this game. Why do you guys not like any games with like actual skill? And you see he smiles, he's like, you got to be harder to read. That is the skill. And as he says that, he like raises his hand up off the table to like talk at her, and then he like sees and he slaps the hand down as John is like quickly trying to look at his dice.
But since I'm sitting right next to him, would I have been able to see anything?
Yeah, make a perception check.
Great.
John's the only one playing this game.
Oh, probably not.
Oh.
Aw.
7.
You saw a 1 in there.
Okay. Yeah, could I tell which dice it was on?
No. It was a very quick look.
Hmm.
No, I'll say you saw it on the D6.
Okay.
So that was she's folded. She's out.
Okay.
But that will bring us to so that goes to John, or not to John, to Veg. He will raise by 10, putting in 1 gold piece.
I'll call.
All right. And then John will raise by 5, so that's up to 45 now. So then Veg will match that with 45, and then you had to put in 5 more silver.
To call?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll call.
All right. And then you guys would roll, because John is not going to raise again. And that is the D12.
Hey,
Oh.
pretty good overall.
And John's going to go first. He's going to raise by 15.
I'll check.
All right. Veg is going to raise by 5 past that. Order was a little wrong there, but John will check that. Will you put 5 more silver in?
I'll do 5 more.
All right, and at that's full round call. So then it is revealed. Isabella had, let's see, 1, 5, 4. Well, she folded, so it doesn't matter. So none of them have a triple. One is 23, and one is.
Oh, you add them up.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
You got a 31.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you win.
Woohoo!
And see, isn't it fun? Isn't it a great game? And Isabella is just like looking real upset. You can see that tail is like swishing back and forth.
As I
As you guys gamble along, you do collect your winnings. Let's see, what would that be? I've got it here, but I've got to do some quick maths. Dungeons and Dragons. You never know what you're going to do this day.
Normally it's quick math.
Yeah.
Times 3 plus 30. 225 silver. So 22 and a half gold pieces.
Oh shit.
Nice.
Nice.
Wait, Isabella didn't do that last round of betting.
Yep, I got that. Yeah.
All right.
so that would be so 22 pieces of gold and 5 pieces of silver.
Yeah, sure.
Oh damn.
Meanwhile, downstairs, you guys this has been taking quite some time between all the staring back and forth. You guys were preparing to come upstairs, right?
Mhm.
All right. As you all begin to filter upstairs, in whatever groups or order you will, you find the same kind of layout of the room. You see Seris playing a game of dice very intensely with a man with what the rest of you, I think all the rest of you would recognize as a gun. A man kind of in brass armor, brown cloak over, kind of cast back but kind of brought up on his shoulders, and a dragon are all playing a game of dice. There's 4 individuals that seem to be almost stabbing each other. One of them is a tabaxi. You guys would have seen those before, not being as far as Seris. And then you would see your friends, Billiam and Allerd. And then you would see some sort of, adventuring individual, well-built, looks like a great fighter, and a tiny individual who is arguing with them still.
Can I history check, try to know what the tiny individual is?
Yes, sir.
Uh, 15.
You don't? They're very tiny. Tinier than things you know about. I mean, you know about all the regular things like and whatnot, but like the only thing that comes to mind is just from the kind of almost extremely vibrant colored clothing of this individual is that they almost look kind of fey.
All right.
Morgan is going to head on over to the arguing duo. Because that will go well.
I just think that if you are going to present yourself as being for the good of the realm, and then you aren't, that's worse than somebody who doesn't present themselves as for the good of the realm being bad. I'd rather a bad person that presents themselves as bad. And you see I cannot believe you're actually trying to make an argument in favor of the Winged Queen. You know the shit she does. Exactly. I know the shit that she does because she's in the open with it. And
Oh my god.
I honestly am at a loss for you.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry to interrupt. I couldn't help overhearing your argument from 3 floors down. I'm not certain what's going on, but perhaps a neutral party might help resolve this?
All I'm doing is I'm playing devil's advocate that the Winged Queen, sure. Is she great? No. I'm not trying to say that. Nobody's trying to say that. All I'm saying is that she's not as bad as everyone seems to say she is.
Now, hold on. I will pull up a chair.
All right.
I find in situations like this, it is best to present the argument from the start to a neutral party. So how about this gentleman, since you've had the opening statement, goes first. He explains his positions and gives a few, let's say 3 points each, as to why he thinks his stance is valid. And then the turn will pass to you. Does that sound fair?
I can get behind it. I'm willing to play it out.
All right. And let's make this interesting. Let's say, just as a wager for incentive, a gold apiece as a bet. Whoever I decide wins gets to keep the 2 gold.
Easy. I'd rather just whoever wins, the other person has to admit they were wrong. And you see the fighter says, fuck that, no. I'll go with 100 gold over that. He's like, see, that's why I want the other one, though.
It's more valuable.
Well, come
How
now.
about he decides?
All right, I get the final decision on how this is determined. 10 gold each, 1 gold apiece to the negotiator. All right, just 2 gold apiece.
Not even a roll for it. Come on.
I mean, I would say roll for it, but that's
that one is a little too blatant to earn a roll.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on now.
just 2 gold apiece. Then whoever wins gets to keep the pot.
Fine. All right, so background. Do you know who the Winged Queen is?
No, imagine that I know nothing. Elucidate.
So, 25 years ago, an angel came to the kingdoms of the north who had been broken for many years. I mean, that's the roller coaster. That is how things are. And she said to them, follow me, everything will be great. And she said, in order for everything to be great, we have to kill all your neighbors and take their land. So they did that. And as it turns out, when you kill your neighbors and you take all their land, things are great for you. So she wasn't lying. And she said, you know what would make things even greater? Let's kill even more neighbors and take even more land. And they did that. And it was great for them, except this time they didn't kill all of them. They kept some because they were kind of needing people to do the jobs they didn't want to do anymore. And don't get me wrong, they were given food. They just had to do a specific job they were told to and live where they were supposed to and read how they were supposed to, like slaves. Hey, that's not the word that they...
No.
Well,
Hold on. It is this gentleman's time to speak.
Technically correct word. They decided, you know what would be even best? Let's go to the biggest city in the world and take that on. And they did, and then they massacred the populace. And then they tried to do that to us, and they lost the war.
That's a very strong opening statement. You, sir, how would you address these actions?
Well, I can make the battlefield whatever I want it to be if I can just tell you things. They didn't. You see, he seems upset by this. They did not kill their neighbors like that. And she wasn't like, hey, let's make life better. She was like, hey, remember the people that were summoning all those demons? Let's kill those people and stop them summoning demons.
Sounds better.
Can't argue that.
And he says, allegedly summoning demons. He said, all of this is alleged. You're going off the rumors that you've heard. I'm going off the rumors that I've heard. Either it is admissible or it isn't.
Gentlemen, I do have to ask that you not talk out of turn. It is this gentleman's turn to speak. Please continue.
Which gentleman's turn is it to speak?
The shorter gentleman's.
So that was the first thing. But then the second thing. He's talking about Lutentia. And it's a tough subject. I know. A lot of the people here, they were servants of Lutentia. They were part of Lutentia at one point in time, under the city of Amagdus, the capital. But sorry to say it, they were bad people. Lutentia was a bad place. It was a bad place. And so when Zariel came, the Winged Queen, that's her other name, came, she wiped out all the demonology. She wiped out the demon hunters. So when you say she massacred the populace, she killed the demon hunters. Or, well, not the demon hunters, the demon users. And he said, is it my turn again?
Can I do a would I be able to do a history check to see if I could substantiate that claim?
Absolutely.
Can't believe I'm doing a fucking mediation.
You put it on,
I love
yourself.
when I get to make
Can't believe it.
questionable
I
exposition
can't
for-
believe it after I asked to mediate for them.
22.
You've heard both their arguments. Like, you've heard both these points. Like, this is a mixture of truth and falsehood. Also,
Okay.
for sure. You aren't sure, being as far away from as you are,
Mhm.
more than just the details of what happened. Like, you know the
But-
facts, but not the reasons behind them. That turns into the speculation.
All right. But would I be able to substantiate that Lutentia did have demonology as a common
Well,
factor?
everybody has demons.
No, that they specifically use demonology.
Yeah, but you know that every kingdom along the royal coast has some interaction with fiends. Whether the demons or devils, it's common practice.
Okay.
It's something your side of the continent hates them for.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to look to the taller gentleman. All right, sir. It is your time to speak, though I do have a question. Do you think that the presence of demonology in Lutentia was a contributing factor to these, or do you think that the presence of demonology had in some way a positive effect on Lutentia's environment?
See, here's the thing. Demonology is demonology. It's a wide subject. It's got both sides to it. And when he says, oh, she hunted all the demon people, the people that were summoning demons, but she also hunted the demon hunters. She also killed anybody that was related to the demons, anybody touched by the demons, anybody who knew the name of a demon, anybody that had any sort of a relation to demons. My argument is not that demon worship or demon usage is wise or good, but that it isn't something that one can just treat like. You can't just hunt people down. You can't just select them, brand them on this title of thing, and then punish them for it with no proof.
Okay, but do you believe that Lutentia's particular use of demonology, and hear me out on
I'll
this.
say that for the sake of this, you've got one more round, I'll say, before we got to move on.
Okay. All right, I'll address the shorter gentleman. All right, and your rebuttal to that claim, sir?
There's a lot of debate. We don't know. We just don't know what happened after the city fell. We just don't know. But we do know a lot of bad things from both sides. And as much as he says, oh, we shouldn't, for lack of a better word, demonize the demon worshippers, they're doing the same thing with her and her followers. Which is that if I were to make this argument downstairs or in any other tavern in 100 miles, they'd nail me to a piece of wood and leave me to rot in the woods. Because there is no discourse on it. There is no proof for either side. There is just, you did this thing, and therefore you're guilty, and therefore I will punish you. There's just justification.
Well, gentlemen, I can't say that either side has particularly won me over, but I will say, as a matter of resolving the competition, the taller gentleman had the more concise and less emotionally driven argument. That isn't saying that it wasn't emotionally driven. I think he just had a stronger end. So unfortunately, I have to rule in favor of him today. Still,
You know, I'm not going to lie. It is not without a heavy heart that I accept this unconditional victory over you. And he pulls the coins that have been set out on the table, and you see that has just angered this fey creature thing to an extreme degree.
well, let's not be petty here.
Oh, that ship
How about
a
I-
long time
Wow,
ago.
what is everyone else doing?
Samuel
I would-
really wants to play the dice game with Seris, but Jimmy recognizes that maybe another round of dice is not the most exciting content for people that aren't playing.
We'll say that
I
you
would like
watch
to,
this dice game, and at some point later can engage the party in a four-way or a multiple way of the party all playing this game on their own time.
Party four-way. Party four-way.
I mean, between the bath bros and the bath sis.
Samuel and Morgan.
You just have this thought to yourself, Samuel. You know what would be really fun next time we're making camp and Chris asks what we should do? Let's play the dice game real quick. And
Oh my gosh.
Riona would look around the room real quick, see that Billiam and I can't pronounce her name. Allerd are over there, and she would like wave and walk over.
And Elrich would probably be over there.
all right, I will move Elric upstairs.
These fucking losers
The
with
two
the
of you
knives
sit
are
down
not
with
getting
them.
any attention.
Have you guys found your rooms well and everything? Settled in?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. They're lovely.
Elric, I wanted to apologize. It seemed like things ended kind of poorly last night. I didn't mean to say anything to offend you.
Oh no, it's just a lot at once. But it's fine now.
I didn't quite get to mentioning this. I didn't quite know exactly what you all were up to or doing. But and you see Billiam is like shaking his head, no. And she's I think you can take it. You guys are headed for, if I remember correctly, the Gate of Kultainen. That is also where my brother is at the moment.
Oh.
And I have, because I suspected you might react strongly, already sent him a message that you,
Oh, well, that last bit got cut off.
that you will be coming.
His face, it's already kind of flushed because of the drinking, just gets like red. It's like, oh.
See, here's the thing. I wear my vices like out in the open. Everybody knows I drink, I hoard. I kind of curse a lot, My vices are out in the open. She meddles. She meddles to an extreme degree and causes all kinds of social trouble. You tell her your secrets, and now everybody knows. I told her that I was stopping drinking. And everybody in here was placing bets when I got back about how many days on the road I made it.
Allerd, speaking of meddling, not that I mind, but would you happen to have sent a message to that commander as well, or how am I supposed to meet him?
So, I was going to. I didn't. For good reason. Which is that Billiam actually thought of something. Who are you guys? Who is this message for?
What do you
I
mean?
trust my brother. Even if you all were doing something, whatever, I would still tell him. I would trust him more than anything. And I trust the commander, just not more than anything. And this is a military installation you're headed for. There's not many people there that aren't of a military persona. And the military have couriers of their own.
That's true, I suppose.
Good question.
I wasn't really there when you guys took this on.
We weren't told.
We were kind of just given a message and told that this symbol would find who we were looking for.
What symbol?
Have you seen it?
I haven't. You haven't.
Give me a second. Elrich didn't shower. Is he still dirty? Or Elrich?
You got prestidigitated.
You got
You got vacuumed on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any oh no, there wouldn't be enough dirt around.
Morgan gave you the big suck.
Um. So I guess it kind of looks like this, and Elrich would like pull out a piece of parchment and like a pen and some ink and like quickly like scribble, and it's gonna be like sloppily like
I'm
something.
pretty sure. Do you have prestidigitation?
No.
No.
Oh,
What would be a good check for drawing?
Performance.
Performance with
Sleight of hand? Performance dexterity.
Yeah, which I don't have performance, so just a dexterity check.
Okay.
13.
13. Okay, you draw it relatively well.
What is this? I don't think we ever actually went over what the symbol is. Like, what is the symbol?
Una momento.
I believe Liam has the actual letter.
Yeah.
I do.
The only one that we can be trusted to not give up our secrets.
I will say that
Risky.
you've got the baseline of the symbol down, but that this specific symbol, there is a lot going on with it. There is kind of a tree like a tree that is shedding leaves that has a like a lion behind it. And then there is also a sword stretched across from left to right. And all of those things are relatively common symbols, and there's a few kind of finer points.
Elrich would also like.
Seems like a very fine seal. I know there's some art to reading these. They don't just say like this is this person's like sigil. It's not as easy as like if you had the statue of White Sinks, and I know it's for Chief, but it's kind of personal heraldry almost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All that aside, I do know who this is for.
Oh.
That just raises more questions about who gave it to you.
Well, who's it for?
It was just a quest giver back in White Sinks. That was a bartender.
Just a simple quest giver name? Let me guess. None of y'all have a license yet, do you?
Not yet.
Not quite yet.
Well, then I know exactly where the fuck you are. But why the fuck is he giving quests like this to groups of adventurers when not one of them has a license?
So we had just helped him out wrangling some pixies. What all is this? What does this entail?
Do you know who the recipient is?
He kind of looks at her. Yeah, we know who the recipient is. It's Prince Shane III.
Oh.
Oh.
So again, why the fuck are you doing? What is this going on?
That's a really good question.
I really couldn't.
In my defense,
And all I want to say before we move on, before we talk about anything else with that, and he points at her, I was fucking right. I was hella fucking right. And she's like, it does seem that you were probably right. It does seem that if there's correspondence of that sort being addressed to the prince outside of the normal methods, that seems of great importance, and it seems that it is deliberately trying to go around Commander DeFerro for whatever purpose.
Was that the guy you were trying to get me to meet?
It is. He's chief of the installation there. He is the command of the gate as he has been for centuries. Since before anything was as it is now. He is an elf, true elf. He has guarded that gate, and his family has, from threats on both sides across the years.
I do want information, but that doesn't seem to bode well.
not to dwell on what is.
See, now we get in this difficult situation where I really want to open that thing.
We were told it would explode.
We can't.
Well, that's what. Well, of course I tell you. Yeah. All right. So what am I going to tell you if I'm hiring a group of unproven adventurers who are a bunch of fucking mercenaries who just helped me out, and I'm just giving them a little quest along the way? I'm going to be like, oh yeah, this thing's going to explode and kill you if you open it up, because they're not going to open it up. They're going to take it. They're going to do their job. They're going to earn their little bit of gold.
Well, if it's for the prince, I could see that being feasible.
And she's like, there's no magic on it. I would have detected that. So it probably won't explode.
Done naturally. I've heard of such things.
I've been told there was no magic on the book, and that's not so much.
Yeah, I mean, it technically could explode naturally, but then it'd be an assassination plot on the print. If it just explodes on opening without detecting who's opening it.
Mysterious letter giver.
Oh my gosh, are we accidental assassins?
We destroyed a city that one time. That's why
It's
not?
not magical. It's not going to explode.
Wait,
Just saying it's possible.
wait, thought. It's non-magical, so it can't know it's him. So one of two things is the case. Either it doesn't explode when you open it, or there is a way to open it that it doesn't explode.
I don't want to find out.
See it? Where is it? I want to see it. I want to play with it.
Oh,
I think we gave it to Leon. Yes, yes.
He's a
yes.
trustworthy sort.
He's big and shiny. It's nice. Big and shiny.
Oh,
Oh
So
dear.
I know it's not necessarily the important point. How should I interact with your brother so he doesn't hate me?
Oh, that is a difficult one.
Me as well, but not.
So he is a individual. I will not lie to you. He does not like many things.
I know.
As far as interacting with him, if I had to guess, my crow will arrive probably later tomorrow night, and I will receive some degree of arcane communication. He is capable of such things, but I am not.
Cool.
And I will tell him about you, and that your group is of great interest, and you seemed really interesting, despite being, I think, a little early along the path, and that I've left out certain details, namely the book. If he does not pay you mind, I suggest you show him that book.
Okay.
Because if I know my brother, that will interest him greatly.
He's not gonna try to take the book, is he?
Because I can't explain it, and I'm guessing he won't be able to explain it immediately either, and that will drive him insane.
I kind of need to keep the book though. He's not gonna try to take the book, is he?
well, if he's curious
He's
about
not gonna
it.
try to take the book, is he? Sorry, I didn't realize that couldn't be picked up on mic.
I've little doubt that he'll ask you for the book, but no, I doubt that he would try and take your book in that way. And if he did, then it should be taken from you.
alpha nerd asserting dominance.
All right. Yeah, sure.
As in, he would only take it from you if it was, like, dangerous in your hands.
Hmm.
Everyone has kept telling me it is a dangerous thing to be in anyone's hands. So, okay.
I just think it's a mystery. It could be anything. It could be dangerous in your hands. It could be more dangerous not in your hands. I've seen books that the moment they're open, they possess those that read them and grant them, or don't grant them power, but that the being within has great power, and it begins to lay waste to everything around. And I would say that you are, if this book is evil, you're able to resist it from the appearance. And if it isn't evil, then there's no reason why you shouldn't have it. And there's no reason to suspect it's evil other than that we don't know what it is and that it does kind of seem a little evil.
A lot of those words are terrifying, but I like where it ended up. Right. How can I get Liam to like me? That's actually a really good question.
I was wondering if you were asking that. I think he does actually kind of like you.
That's weird.
I like you. You seem a likable person. Oh, okay. But it's just I would say I don't know. You seem nice. He's really into just the big and shiny kind of guy things where you.
As you were talking, Isabella, the dragon, lands right on the table.
Oh, hello.
Oh, so scary.
And kind of does like the little like giant dragon like head thing, like she's gonna like breathe all over you, but like she's like examining you, Elrich.
Oh, you're so scary.
And she like looks to Elaith. Him? Elaith.
What would I know about green dragons?
What do you make an Arcana check?
All right.
But she kind of like is looking you down, and she said,
18.
"So I hear you like magic."
Oh yeah. Oh, I can actually do something kind of similar to you. I don't think this is gonna hurt you, but it's kind of cool. And he's gonna let me remember what all the components to this are.
You would know not much about like the greater lore of dragons. Beyond there's chromatic dragons, they are bad usually. There are metallic dragons, they are usually good. Those are kind of
Careful.
flexible. The only dragon in the kingdom right now that you are aware of is Dylan Thoriel. He is the copper dragon that is the right hand, or well, not the right hand of the king, but he's like good friends of the king. They ride around together and stuff.
Would I know that greens are the dragons of poison? Like, would I know that?
Yeah. You would know. You would know that much. You would know that much. I'd say that's one of the more obvious ones. Like that and red are like very clear.
What? So, would it not hurt it, or just not hurt it as much?
You're not sure. Probably dangerous proposition in a closed space.
How drunk are you, buddy? How low are your inhibition?
Poison thing I learned too. I'd do it at you, but I don't know if that would hurt you. But yeah, I like.
Okay, that's kind of that's a proposition. Well, if it does hurt me, Veg will probably fucking kill you. So there's that.
Do you think it's gonna hurt you?
I mean, I don't care.
I've not tried to get something before. I've not tried to get something moving before. Let's do it.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Riona's just gonna get up and like back away.
Can Morgan hear this, by the way?
Elrich, before anyone can stop him, Elrich,
gonna
Elrich,
go over
you guys
here.
are making me mess up my own character's name. Is gonna
she's
cast
gonna
Ray of Sickness
Go
at
over here by
Isabella.
Seris.
Oh
All right,
no.
what's that chat?
Sure.
Good thing I prepared cure wounds today.
I mean, it's all poison damage. So, and then the attack.
Oh, good.
Oh god.
Embarrassing for you,
Oh,
but good.
God, no. Who do I accidentally poison?
Well, considering your firing line.
I will say so. You like shoot it at her, and she's like, and it like goes past her, and like kind of goes in the face of Allerd, who is like immediately like you don't. It's a natural one. You don't get to like hit somebody else off the natural one, but like she does like have to like kind of like dodge out of the way as
Oh god. Oh god, I'm so
the
sorry.
ray shoots past her, and as the ray shoots past, the ray doesn't hit her, but it does kind of give off this cloud of like noxious odor, like it is identifiable what it was.
Oh god, I'm so sorry. We probably shouldn't be doing that in here.
But yeah, the actual spell itself is just like a. If I'm correct, it's like you point. There's like a laser, but it just has like a sickness to it. Like there's this putrid smell around it.
Yeah. Poison damage.
So it's
and
Okay.
yeah, that
The green dragon's like. That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. Do you know what Eldritch Blast is?
I don't.
Nick's real fucking good at it, dude.
How do I get it?
It'd be an Elrich blast.
Elrich blast.
And about this time, Meg realizes that she's missing. Isabella, stop harassing him.
No, keep harassing me.
It's called asserting dominance. If you can do it yourself, Meg, I've got to do it for you.
Hi, Seris. I was just coming over here while he was doing his demonstration. No armor, you know.
And the dragon's going to fly back over there, and as soon as she's gone, Allerd is going to explain. So Veg is a little bit of a caster himself of the Pact variety. The Pact being related to dragons.
Oh.
Wow, that's really
They have a very special relationship.
Oh.
Very obnoxious. All right. So you were saying, Riona, sorry?
Oh, I was just saying to Seris, hi. I just came over here while he was doing his little magic thing. I didn't want to get in the way. You know, no armor.
Understand. I've shed mine as well.
Well, I'll say that about this time you guys are hearing the tavern downstairs has grown to the rowdy point. You now imagine that your dance would not be out of place. And as you all kind of, the attitude of the room upstairs kind of gets to that point as well. It looks like people are about to start drinking more heavily and getting into more belligerent activities. I think that's where we'll have to call today because it is kind of,
I wanted to get into a drinking contest with Elrich, Raknul, and Sam.
we will launch next game with that and then move to move out of the tavern as the game goes on.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
Roll d20.
Oh, yeah, we gotta see who's doing the
roll d20s. Oh, wait, actually, wait, no, don't do that yet. Oh, I guess we could do that on stream, right? Stream's still going, right? Nick?
Yep.
Why not?
All right, yeah, everybody roll d20s to determine who will be our recapper.
I've been on the chopping block the last week.
I think I know who it is.
Yeah, we do.
I think that it is Blake, all right?
Yeah.
I do not have to roll, correct?
Yep.
Yep.
That is, Will be doing our, Will/Blake will be doing our recap next week. All right, well, thank you all for tuning in. A little bit of a jump back to kind of a slower pace this week. It was kind of a social thing, see where it goes sort of thing, open-ended.
World building.
World building. But hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. We will see you next week and at 8:15 now. And there's something you're supposed to do.
Like, subscribe, comment,
Like and subscribe, baby.
Mhm.
and learn about your friends. Bathe with your friends.
Bathe with your friends, yeah.
Friend,
Pledge your
Just remember to
soul.
set, just remember to set your
you can
boundaries.
see
Our pact bonus if you pledge your soul and undying loyalty.
Or your firstborn child.
It
we'll
all
be coming out
permission
with
to strangers that you just met yesterday.
and dating together within the next few weeks.
All right, that'll be good.